What's up guys, I'm Jonas from Natural Max Fitness. Welcome back to another video on my channel. Today it's about the 5 major changes that I've made in my training that have really brought my physique to a new level. So when I started working out about a decade ago, I was getting really good results for the first 2 or 3 years. You guys know how it is. When you're a beginner, all you have to do really is to show up and you're making those newbie gains. However, after a couple of years of training, in my case it was about 3 years, those results are happening at a much slower rate, and a lot of people suddenly start to realize that maybe their training wasn't as perfect or wasn't as effective as they thought it was. And that's when you have to think about your entire workout routine and of course your nutrition as well, and ask yourself, what changes can I make to start making gains again? But the nutrition topic is a whole nother animal and we're going to cover that in a future video. Today it's all about training. In this picture right here, I'm 16 years old, and at this point I've already been training for almost 4 years. Now in this picture I'm 20 years old, and as you can see I was making a lot of my gains, you could maybe even say the majority of my gains, in my second 4 years of training. Now why is that the case? Well, it's because I got dialed in and I started getting serious about my training. I started to read studies, I started to work for a personal trainer certification, and that's when I was able to bring my gains to a whole nother level. Now what I want to tell you guys here is, even if you've been training for a couple of years and you're not really satisfied with your results yet, then please don't give up. Everything can change even after a couple of years in the gym, and hopefully the 5 tips that I'm going to give you in this video are going to be the first step of action that you can take to improve your physique and bring it to a new level as well. Okay, so tip number 1, slow down your reps. And when I say slow down your reps, I don't mean training like a grandpa. I don't mean doing biceps curls like this. No, that's not what I mean. You should do your concentrics, which is your lifting phase, as explosively and as fast as possible, while of course keeping great form. However, when I say slow down the reps, I specifically mean slowing down the eccentrics, the lowering phase of the rep. Now why is that the case? Well, a lot of you might think that's because you want to increase the time under tension per set. However, I'm not really a big believer that your sets need to be in a certain time under tension in order to create a stimulus for muscle growth or in order to achieve hypertrophy in general. I don't think that's the case as long as you take your sets to failure or close to failure. Of course, there's a certain time under tension window that you want to be in, but that's a really big window, and I'm talking about 20 seconds all the way to 2 minutes per set. So you don't really have to worry about that so much. But anyway, slowing down your eccentrics is so effective because you're creating more muscle damage. Or in other words, you're creating more micro trauma in the muscle fibers. And when these little tears in the muscle fibers heal, they grow back thicker and stronger and making your muscles less vulnerable. And that's so important for hypertrophy. And that's why I recommend to do a 2-second eccentric on every single rep. Now when it comes to isolation movements like flies, or pullovers or stuff like that, you might even want to go a little bit slower and do a 3 or 4 second eccentric even. Now experiment a bit with that and see what works for you, but definitely slow down your eccentrics, it will be worth it and bring you new gains for sure. And tip number 2, track your sets. Progressive overload is really the key for muscle growth. Now back in the day when I was a teen, in my first couple of years in the gym, I used to laugh about the guys that used to write down every single set, used to write down the number of reps and the weight they used. I thought it was ridiculous and they were being overly dramatic in a way. But nowadays I know that you really want to progress and get stronger and achieve more reps or use more weight on every single set, every single time you step into the gym. Just like a sprinter wants to improve his time over 100-meter sprint, a bodybuilder should aim to get stronger. So what I do is I track my performance on the very first working set of every workout, because I always start my workouts with a heavy compound lift. So for example, if today I'm getting 8 reps on bench presses and last time I only got 7 reps with the same weight, I know I'm progressing and I know that what I'm doing is working. And you don't really have to write down or track every single set of every single workout, but make sure you track your compound lifts and make sure those lifts are going up. And if they are, then you can be sure that you're doing something right in your workout. However, in order to drive progressive overload and to make sure that strength gains are happening as fast as possible, you want to make sure that you have a strength focus in your workout. And that's what leads to tip number 3. And that is, don't just do 8 to 12 reps on every single set. Yes, 8 to 12 reps is a great rep range to achieve hypertrophy because it's practical, it's easy to train to failure in that rep range, and it also tends to have a good stimulus to fatigue ratio. However, in order to achieve progressive overload, you want to have a strength focus in your workouts as well. And that's why it's important to incorporate lower rep ranges on those heavy compound lifts as well. By doing that, you're making sure that you're stimulating those fast-twitch muscle fibers which have the biggest potential for muscle growth in an optimal way. So what I like to do is, I start my workouts with a heavy compound lift where I use a weight that I can only get 3 reps with. And as the weeks goes on and my training period goes on, I make sure that I improve and I get stronger until I'm able to get 8 reps with that weight on the first working set. And as soon as I'm able to get 8 reps with that weight, I start to use a heavier weight again that I can only do for 3 reps. And that's how I use progressive overload in my training. If you're interested in my training methods and you want to train like me for only $20, you can do that by heading over to $20transformation.com. My $20 transformation training program includes 4 scientific training phases, macro and calorie calculation to reach your personal goal, meal plan examples for everyone, as well as 24/7 personal email support, so you can reach out to me at any time and ask any questions and I will be there for you. So take advantage of the best offer in fitness now and I'll see you on the team. Let's get these gains. And tip number 4, say goodbye to bad exercises. And no, the exercises you say goodbye to don't necessarily have to be bad for everyone, but everyone has exercises where he just doesn't achieve a good mind-muscle connection, or it doesn't feel right in the joints, ligaments or tendons, or whatever it may be that is causing a problem. You really don't have to waste your time with it in most cases. As a personal trainer, I've seen so many people that get knee pain from doing regular back squats, and no matter how hard they try to switch up their form, it just doesn't go away, and it's just not the exercise for them. Now for other people the back squat might be the greatest leg exercise, and that's completely fine. However, there are no exercises that you must do, so don't really waste your time with it in the first place. There are so many alternative exercises like Bulgarian split squats, sissy squats, or whatever it may be that works for you. Be open to self-experiment with that, and be open to find new ways to stimulate the muscle in a better and more effective way that doesn't give you pain in the ligaments, joints and tendons, because that's what's the most important over the long term. And tip number 5, make sure that your workouts are customized. Different things work for different people, and I don't care what we are talking about, workout frequency, volume, exercise selection, or whatever it may be, and that's why I made sure that all the workouts in my $20 transformation program are adjustable to your training level or any personal preferences that you might have. And that's really important, guys. For example, different people have different recovery abilities. That's why some people love to do high volume workouts, while other people swear by HIIT routines where they are only doing a handful of sets per muscle group, and that's okay too. But be open to self-experiment, like I said, and find out what works for you. And that's one change that I have had to make in my training multiple times over my fitness journey, because your body also changes as you get older and as different things are going on in your life. So be flexible with that at all times and don't just look for black or white answers, because in many cases there aren't any. And that's it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, if you're looking for a complete workout and nutrition program for a very cheap price, the $20 transformation is there for you and I got you covered. So make sure to head over to $20transformation.com and join the team today. Until then, stay strong, stay healthy, see you next time. And by the way, I've seen that many of you aren't subscribed to this channel yet. So what's wrong, man? You're hurting my feelings. So please subscribe to this channel, like this video and comment, let me know what you want to see next, or I'll cry.